Sat down with the girls and apologized in person and answered their questions too. Figured since they already know it's only fair. Again, she can legally come home whenever she wants and doesn't have to adhere to any demands, but if she's afraid to face us, maybe I could use that to our advantage? Is that wrong? I'm not trying to be devious or deceptive here, just really don't want to start cohabitating yet if I can delay it. There is a mandatory 90-day waiting period in our state before divorce can happen anyway. Her coming home is inevitable, we'll both have to go back to work eventually and life will go on regardless of this mess. I'd just like to prolong it so I can plan and get into a better state of mental/emotional health. My wife has been texting the girls, and she claims that she doesn't want a divorce and keeps apologizing to them repeatedly. They've shown me the texts, asks about me daily, and the reality of what she's done to all of us is hitting her hard, especially in the last couple of days. How do I manage this? Was my demand foolish? It sounds like my wife is going to be coming home sooner than later anyway. I feel confident in my path forward right now. I'm not rattled by this as I knew it would happen eventually. I just want to make the best decision for my daughters and then myself as we move forward. Thank you to each and everyone that's been offering encouragement, advice, and support. Update 4. This will be rather anticlimactic, but apologies for the length. I just need to get this out. Terrible weekend. But my wife came home yesterday. A decent amount of build up to it as this week went on. Any prior time she'd first enter the doorway I'd give her a hug and kiss, but this time there was just this horribly uncomfortable awkwardness between us. She actually came to me and tried to give me a hug before saying anything, but I turned away. Unreal, just as if nothing had happened. After she settled, I naturally asked her to tell me everything, and she again reiterated that she's not ready. We had spoken on the phone earlier in the week, same result. I insisted that the only condition of her moving back home was that she loved the family enough to explain why she's been absent for going on 3 weeks, but she just repeated that she just wasn't ready for that. It took a lot to not scream at her, but I took a couple of deep breaths and tried to compose myself. I failed, and after the first of many very long pauses, I just blurted out that she'd been having an affair for over 4 years with this coworker of hers, planned on leaving me for this other man, ghosted her whole family, and now walks through the door without fulfilling the one single condition that I had asked for. And that I wanted a divorce. I guess this is when things got weird? Her body language and facial expression made it obvious she had no idea how much I knew about her affair. She glanced at me wide-eyed, then just stood there in the kitchen staring at the floor, said nothing, just stoic. I was expecting anything/everything but this. Maybe an emotional tirade, maybe a teary-eyed confession, maybe she'd start screaming at me, yelling, blaming the affair on me, maybe a serious toned "okay, let's sit down and talk this out," but not this reaction. We honestly must have stood in the kitchen for 5 minutes in absolute silence. It was just the strangest moment I've ever experienced. She clearly didn't know what to say, and neither did I. I had read all of your comments/advice on my situation. I even took notes. I sat in front of a mirror and had prepared myself for all possible scenarios that this confrontation might present. Except this one. So I eventually decided right then and there to map out everything I knew about her affair. Maybe dumb of me. Proceeded to tell her everything that I knew, admittedly adding in my own assumptions about several things, how she met AP, her sister's involvement, what went on during COVID, etc. She just stared at the floor the entire time. I got angrier as I went along because she said/did nothing, but I did everything I could not to raise my voice or get obscene. I finally composed myself, then there was another lengthy awkward silence. Then anger switched to sadness at the realization of everything. I then softly asked her what I did to push her away. Did she ever love me? And was he, AP, worth it? She said nothing, didn't budge, didn't move. Just nothing from her at all. No tears, no apology, no yelling, no explanation, just stood there with her head down. Nothing. This hurt maybe worse than D-Day did. I stood there staring at her, not sure I would have moved, but then things got worse. Of course our girls were eavesdropping on the entire encounter. I'm just so incredibly stupid. I've been dedicating so much energy into putting them first and their needs over the past couple of weeks, but I got emotional and didn't give a single thought to their whereabouts once I confronted my wife. So our oldest daughter stormed downstairs and lashed out, a lot of pent-up anger on her part. My wife quickly just ran upstairs and locked the bedroom door. That's where we're at now. I heard my wife crying most of the night last night until I fell asleep. Only our youngest has tried talking to her, the rest of us have avoided her. If I can get the courage up, I'm going to suggest she stay with her sister until we're able to finalize the divorce, but this is still her home too. It's just going to be miserable if we all have to cohabitate with her. I was wrong about my wife and all of you were correct. I was wrong about all of our years together, wrong about all of the memories, the life-changing moments. I was convinced she'd drop to her knees and beg forgiveness. I was so convinced that she would repent of everything from the last 4 years and unload the truth to absolve her guilt. This woman literally drove back to a farmer's market once when she realized she'd been given $10 too much in change, but we're not worth it to her. I'm not worth it to her, maybe I never was. Now what? Today was so uncomfortable at home, the girls and I tried to carry on as we had for the past 2 weeks, but obviously that's not possible. I just want to fast forward past all this, past the divorce, past the awkward conversations, past the inevitable arguments/fights, past the drama. To those that have had to cohabitate with their WS, how did you manage that? Especially with kids? I know this is just the beginning. I keep reading all of the posts that promise it gets better, but I'm so far away from that. There's not a single moment when I don't want to scream/sob right now. Trying very hard to maintain a stable mind for the girls, of course, but don't know if I can keep it up for 3 months. School will start well before all of this is over too. I guess this is my life now. Thank you all for taking such a vested interest in me. I don't know if the worst is ahead or behind us, but appreciate any/all you can offer to get me through the next phase. Upfate 5. I'm in a bad way, and have been in a bad way since my WW came home since I learned of her affair. I've been trying to fake it as best as possible for my daughters. I try to say the right things, think the right things, but tonight I have to admit the truth. As many of you post daily, it comes in waves, but I was hit with a big one tonight and lost my composure a bit. Divorce is filed, but my WW still has yet to hire a lawyer, and again I'm trying to be as patient and delicate in this regard as possible, as I'm starting to see hope for an uncontested divorce that we mainly handle mostly ourselves, but after tonight I don't know. We've been cohabitating during the week, and WW goes to her sister's Friday nights and returns home Sunday nights as she works very close to our family home, but her sister is an hour away if there's no traffic. For the past couple of weeks it's been this routine of mostly avoidance, as myself and the girls are trying to carry on normally while WW kinda just stays to herself, though there are casual interactions every evening, except that my oldest daughter and my WW aren't speaking after a couple of bad blow-ups. It's for the best right now. Lately I've been heeding much of all of your advice along with things I've read. I work very hard on my self-discipline around my wife, and though it takes all my strength and willpower, I've been short and indifferent toward her when we briefly talk, though always polite and respectful. Until tonight. Last couple of Fridays she's come home from work, gotten a few things together and taken off for her sister's for the weekend before I'm even home from work. But not tonight. She was waiting in the kitchen for me when I got home tonight. I tried to just walk past, but she lightly grabbed me by the hand and asked me if this is how I was going to treat her just because she's not ready to talk to me about her affair, which by the way, is the very first time she's so much as mentioned a single word about her cheating since this all blew up almost a month ago. I promise you I tried to just bite my tongue and walk away, but our daughters weren't home at the time and rage built up in me, and then I unloaded my every vice, every pain, every hurt, ache, rage, misery. I unloaded everything on her. I can't even tell you how long I went on, lost all concept of time. I did raise my voice at times, got a little animated and loud. I just broke down and told her how broken I am and the agony that I'm in every day. Everything I've been holding back, everything that's been tormenting me. I mean, I could make this post 4,000 words long if I tried to recount everything I said. Once I started, I wasn't going to stop. Of course I cried, got emotional again. I was so frickin' angry at myself afterward. I'd been doing so well. Damn it. She got to me, I let her get to me. I knew it would happen, I knew it. Disgusting. It's been building for a while and there's only so much I can vent into the weight room. Well,